Alright, so we're here at the museum. I'm going crazy because I recognize so many of these logos, the Lackawanna Railroad, the Lehigh Valley, Erie, Penn Central, Pennsylvania Railroad, Cross Reading, Baltimore, Ohio, Local Southern, Conrail, CXS, Nickel Road. I'm going crazy, and also there's an there's a little cage engine. It looks like to almost the same as a miracle, but there's also the hobby shop, the train shop, sorry, which you're gonna go later, right? So yeah, let's go. So hey everyone, I'm gonna do a voiceover from here out, so expect might be talking for a little bit. But here I am entering the museum, and right off the bat you can see the only surviving 440 of the Pennsy Railroad, the 442 Atlantic type, and other things. So over here we went to this section where there was like a bunch of toys in here. There was some models for this play. I saw this really cool one from Age of Scale, a Tim plate from 911, which is awesome. This is a Northman's E7 unit, I think it was, and some other stuff. And some posters, which is really cool. And then I also saw, obviously, the Thompson Magic Railroad poster, which I thought was pretty cool. I really liked it, so I took a picture of it. And right at the end of the exhibition was the massive layout that the museum has. I was able to tell some models here. This is, I believe, a Bachmann Spectrum Shay. I don't know what the background engine is. I was not able to recognize it. However, I did recognize this. This is a Broadway Limited 2100, which is really cool. I have never seen one of these models, so I thought it looked very cool and such. And there's some little details here and there, which is just awesome. The detail these have are incredible. The houses, the weathering, the detail on the mountains, and everything just was so cool. And there's so many engines as well. And over here was the city, which is ginormous, I gotta say. At the station, I was able to recognize a Broadway Limited T1, along with Broadway Limited E6 for 60. I should mention G1 for K4 Pacific. The roundhouse filled with Pennsy engines galore. And over here, this is the Pennsylvania Railroad E6 Atlantic 460. This is the sole surviving member of the class. This engine was able to go faster than an airplane, not in the way you think, but it's really interesting. Over here, I'm going to the front of it and touch the Locomotive. Yes, I did that. It was very fun. Over here, this is 1223, the surviving member of 440, so Pennsylvania Railroad. This is a two-way consolidation, 1187, the sole member surviving from the 1890s class, which is just so awesome. Over here is a replica of the John Bull, which is pretty epic. I really liked it. It was so cool and everything. Over here we have 7002, originally 8063. This is an E7 Atlantic that 8863 masqueraded her sister 7002 because she was thought to be the world's fastest steam locomotive at a speed of 127.2 miles per hour, which is really cool. Honestly, the engine looks very cool. The paint was gorgeous and everything. And yeah, I really like 7002. Crossing over the Jumbo here, we see the Pensy's most famous engines, the GG1, this one being 4935. This is in spectacular condition. I really loved it. It was so cool seeing on GG1 for the first time in years. Over here, this is a GP30 Conrail unit, which I thought was super cool. I like how they show the engine inside the cab and everything. Back there's a GP9 from the Pennsy Railroad. This is 94, guys, the 040 switcher type. Jesus, this is so cool with the pistons and everything. Hey, look at that. 94's pistons and bell are in there. Is there anything else? So here is a Pennsy 10-wheeler, I believe it's a G5, and this is an E7 unit, which is in spectacular shape. Here's a closer look at the Pensy's 10-wheeler G5. This is kind of scary looking, I don't know why. Over here we have a Virginia and Truckee Railroad Mogul type Tahoe, which is really cool. Then we have 1251, one of the last steam engines used in the Class 1 railroad, which I thought was pretty cool. It was in great shape, not gonna lie. I really liked it. It had such a unique front. And over here was the Pennsy Powerhouse and Light Company 080 fireless switch, which I was pretty cool. Here's the front, and then front of it was a 040 switcher fireless. And here's some pictures I took of the engines I saw, which are all pretty cool. And then I decided to go to the other side where I found this. After that, we saw the Climax that was there and the Heisler, two-wheeler consolidation of the Pennsy Railroad, and then we went to the outside yard where there were many engines, and I saw the last remaining E60 from Amtrak 603,
which was being restored right next to another 2-8 consolidation. I believe it was 7866, I believe, 56, I don't remember. Here's the 060 switcher that was also in restoration process, which is looking very, very good. And then we went to a turntable. We were running passenger cars and rail custom switchers. And behind it was the L1 Mikau type, which I thought was really cool. And then we saw the K4 Pacifics and M1 Mountain types. The K4 was amazing. It was such a beauty to see there. On the turntable, we saw a couple of drawings. Sus there. Anywho, I realized there was actually a Thomas username there, that being Silverband7, which is right there. Shout out to him, he's an awesome Thomas creator. Then we saw the M1, which I should mention, this thing was so big and it had so many delicate parts. And her tenant was ginormous. After that, we went to the museum's hobby shop, or shop in general, however you want to call it, where there were many books, and I wish I could have taken so many of them, but it didn't fit, sadly. There's also some DVDs and some toys, but I was really interested in the books, which I did get a couple, which I'll show later in the video. But the shop was awesome, there's so many cool stuff there. Then after we went to the shop, we went to the Strasburg Railroad.
Guys, we're here at Strasburg. Oh my god, cannot believe I'm here. Wow. Oh my god, this is so insane. Oh, there's 475. Right foot creep.
When 475 arrived, I decided to go check her out, and she was just gorgeous. 475 is one of my favorite 480s. She's just so cool. I really like 475. And then I took this awesome picture of her.
Now we're rolling. Guys, I am seeing 611 here. Holy moly. This is awesome. I already see touch here. The cylinders and all the pistons. Look at that. Wow. This is insane. The piston rods and everything. Wow. 611 is truly a beauty of steam. Oh, there it is. The Spirit of Roanoke. Look at that. Wow. Here's a tender. Wow. I wonder, can you see after tapping? Nah. Wow. This is my first 484 Northern type I see. And I'm so glad 611. Oh, the Queen of Steam herself. What a beauty. What a beauty. Wow. Wow, this is just so beautiful. Beautiful 611. Wow. And also, here's a car front offer that says the Virginia Museum of Transportation where she comes from. So yeah, there's that. Bye 611, I'm gonna miss you. There's 475. Beauty she is.
And then we're going to see outside part of the museum where was the AM7 and the GG1 and the DD1. And that was the trip.
So, I am back from the trip now. I got to say guys, that was the best year of my life. I went to my favorite railroad, saw 475, one of my favorite 480s, and probably my favorite Norfolk and Western engine. And I saw also 611 and so many of my favorite engines from the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. For those who don't know, the Pennsylvania Railroad is one of my favorite U.S. railroads of all time. And seeing so many of the engines from it was just amazing to me. So, what did I get from the show that was in the museum? Well, I forgot to bring this, but I also bought like this little jar of like cola about this size. And that was pretty cool. And I also got these. Now, I know I said that I specifically wanted books, but does that mean that I did only get books? And I also got these, which are some documentary DVDs. I got this one, 611 Steam, which I already watched and was surprised by it. This is one of my favorite DVDs now. It was just so great. I also got this one of Steaming the Last Baldwin, which is, I believe, cheesesteak in Ohio, 1309, I believe. And then the other one is Big Steam is back, including a little bunch of steam engines, which I thought was pretty cool. And besides the DVDs and the piece of home, I got books, because I read. So the first book I got is this little tiny one that, you know, is pretty cool. This is essentially the museum in pictures. It has the information and pictures of some of the engines they have. A lot of these are really cool and has some great info on them, honestly. So this is a great little book to have. I also got this, which is a Strasburg Railroad book. So this has a bunch, it's sort of like a history book in a way. So let me move my camera here. And essentially this has a lot of pictures from engines from their road, and also they have the Thomas page. They tell the history of when the engines arrive and such, which I thought was pretty cool. I believe in the beginning here they show the early years. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pages of all time. And we get some beautiful pictures from this, which I thought was really cool. This is one of my favorite books now. I read it completely, and it's a great thing. And then this was actually, I did not actually get this. A friend that came with us actually gave this to me. This is a book about Amtrak across America. Essentially, these are pictures from Amtrak engines around states. You see here, this is a picture book of the Connecticut. Pictures of the Amtrak engines going through there. We see some F40s, some E60s, a turbo train, which I thought was pretty cool. Basically that's the whole point of the book, which I thought was super cool. There's some beautiful pictures in this. This is just very cool. So I'm very thankful for that gift. And the last book I got, which is the biggest and heaviest, this is a Baldwin Locomotive Works book. Essentially, this has all the specifications for a bunch of engines. It has the wheel diameters and all this stuff, which were for railroad they were built for. And between times, there will be like these little sections of history, which I thought was pretty cool.
And this is just a fantastic little book. There's so many engines here. They're mostly Atlantic studio consolidations and 10-wheelers, but a pretty good book. And that was pretty much everything I got at the museum. I had a fun time at the museum. I got so many to see, so many stuff, and I got so many cool stuff. So I totally recommend you guys go over there, and thank you guys for watching this Strasburg vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.